Bellman-Ford and Disaster's algorithm. Now we are going to see the Java code and implementation for those shortest path algorithm that we had discussed till now, like Bellman-Ford and Disasters and directed acyclic graph shortest path. So, and thereafter we'll see some of the application. So, the first most important data structure for defining some weighted directed edge was looking like this. In this, you actually have the U and V and W as the edges, and there is weight. So there are three things: U and W, V and W as the vertices, and weight between them. So whenever you call this class, there will be a constructor will be called, and then U, this V and W was being assigned to the vertices, and this weight would be assigned. And whenever you required and whenever you call and want to access that adjacency list or something, you use this function from and to. This from and to was equivalent to either and others in case of that minimum spanning tree. So in this minimum, in the older minimum spanning tree, you had used either and or. In the shortest path, you actually have this, what, the source and target. So from and to was being used. Then the weight would also be returned with this weight function. Thereafter, you define the class for the whole thing. So the number of vertices in the graph. First, you define this, means there will be a parameter and a declaration for that, and then a back type of data structure was being using this directed edges for defining the adjacency of each vertices. Then you actually initialize that number of vertices that are there, then start defining that adjacency according to the adjacency that you had created over here with adding the edges. What are the edges that are being added? And each time the vertices v, small v, was added with some edge, and that edge contains the information of what? That edge contains information of v, w, and the weight. So weight, all the three was being given, and then the adjacency was being created for this v driving v to w. Then you can get this adjacency based upon this iteratable edge, directed edge. Then this is from the Coreman book. Coreman, you can see this algorithm. Whereas this is from that Princeton's algorithm course, and there was some variable exchange between them. So you have to understand this variable exchange. Here you are using relaxation U and V and W. So here in this relaxation, you are just passing a data structure of E. What does E contain? E contains V drives W with some weight as E. So there is E dot weight, which is weight. So there is some weight over here. Then this is edge E. Next, you just want to do what? This U will become V. Means in the Coreman U drives V was there. Instead of this, we are using V drives W in case of this Princeton's algorithm. This, and what E dot from this function, Java programming function, would return what? V. And E dot to function would return W, means target node, source node, and target node. So thereafter you have weight function in the Coreman book, but here you are using E dot weight for the weight of V comma W. So this is what the steps of the relaxation. this if v dot d is greater than dot d plus weight of v comma u comma v. This means this statement. So if this v dot d over here is greater than u dot d plus that w weight was there between u and v. So this is what it means. Or if we redefine it, we can say that this w becomes what? W becomes v. So v is greater than, and what v become? V become u, and what this u comma v was there. So it depends on. I hope you can interpret this. This is a very simple interpretation, means conversion. And then if there is this condition was true, means the current distance of v from, that is w from the source node, is larger than the distance of v plus the given weight between v and w. So you just replace with this the weight to reach the distance to reach vertex v from the source plus distance between v and w, means weight between v and w, and that would be updating the distance to reach w, and this edge of this parent will be updated, means v will become parent of w. How this is how it will be done. V will become parent of w, and there was some source s, and there was some random path like this to reach v. So you can reach v with this, and you have this, you add this edge e, and you make the parent of w as v. Next, initialization step of Bellman-Ford. So we are going to see Bellman-Ford algorithm. First, we will see initialization step of that Bellman-Ford. So it's over here. You just initialize the distance and weight of that graph and make that whole graph working. Thereafter, you just use the queue method for running that Bellman-Ford. So thereafter, you have this while loop over here. Corman used for loop, but in this Princeton, you are using while loop. So till the queue is empty, you keep on running, and there should be no negative cycles, and the whole process will keep on happening. Then this relaxation, and then the from the queue you remove the v. V was being removed. Setting false means what? You have just visited v. So when v is visited, you just remove v from the queue. So this is what it means. And then this for each edge you in the graph, you are doing the relaxation. So this is the whole step. For each edge you are doing the relaxation of that v. For each edge of v, you are doing the relaxation. So this is what doing the relaxation step. This for each edge of v, you are doing the relaxation, and this is what the whole relaxation step. So I hope we had already discussed this relaxation step, and this epsilon is just for removing the error if the weight is very small. Instead of this, you are just using very small addition of the means least value that can remove the error of the processors. So you don't ignore this epsilon over here. and this is just for the removal of error when it's very small. Then this whole thing we had already studied. If this condition was being true, then you have to replace and readjust the weight of reaching W, and you have to update the parent of that W as well. Thereafter, you have to calculate this negative cycle. Means you have to do it. If you do this whole thing, find negative cycle one more time. In this negative cycle, find negative cycle, you are actually doing this whole one thing again. So it will give us false and true or false. It depends on the negative cycle. So this is what you are doing in this find. So next we'll see directed acyclic graph. This
So,
directed, yes.
sir, in the previous code, so can you show? Yes, sir. Why we are checking the negative cycles in every iteration of relaxation? So we have to check the negative cycles after relaxation, because in the algorithm we are doing uh, checking of negative cycle after the relaxation process have done. We have done that.
So here actually this code was like this is just for the temporary checking of negative cycle. This is not the that whole this thing. It's over here. This assertion was being done over here. So there is some change in the code. You can say the some smaller algorithm updation was being done over there, over here, so that so it depends on how you code that algorithm. It is not necessarily that you have to code the algorithm as it is. So this is some change. So they are checking the negative cycle after this whole iteration of this. So did you get this code was being somewhat changed as compared to this algorithm?
Okay, sir.
And there was some difference between this algorithm written over here and the code written over here. So it depends on how you code. Next, this directed acyclic graph. So in the directed acyclic graph, you do the topological sort. Where it is, you do the topological sort. You just call that topological sort function or class directly over that graph G, and then you have to do the initialization. So initialization was done over here and here as well. So thereafter, you for each of the vertices, vertex you start doing the topological sort based uh, selection for doing the relaxation. So this for each edge E in the topologically sorted vertex V, you do the relaxation. So this is how you do the implementation, and in the next slide we'll see that relaxation step. So relaxation, I think it's been common and we had seen a lot. So I'll skip this, and the same thing will happen in the relaxation over here as well. So it's just simple. First do the topological sort, and based on the topological sort, you keep on reading this vertex V that will reduce some complexity, and then for each adjacency vertex or the edge of vertex V was being used. So all the adjacency of vertex V was being used, and that for each edge you keep on doing the relaxation. And the relaxation was the same as we had discussed. Then in this disasters algorithm, you just do the initialization first over here, and you do the queue initialization as well over here. So this queue was being initialized. And actually initialization was also being done over here for the graph, and then the while loop for till the queue becomes empty, you keep on doing the process. So this queue was being initialized or maintained over till here. This s equals to 0. This I hope this s statement was being clear. This s is equals to 5, means this means distance of the source node is 0, and rest distance of all the other would be infinity. So this was infinity, no, infinity, and rest all were like rest source node will be 0. So this is 0 and this is infinity, and then till the y this in minimum priority queue is empty, you keep on running the algorithm. What you are going to run, you are actually dequeuing, means extracting the vertex, which is with the minimum weight edge from in that queue. So in that queue you just search what is the minimum weighted edge, and you extract that minimum weighted edge, and thereafter you do start doing relaxation for each of that uh, adjacency in of v. For each vertex of this you are doing this whole thing. So basically I'll remap this whole thing. This extract will be over here. You are getting u view, means in that core man u was there, and here it's v. So for each of this adjacency of this u, or you can say v, you are going to do this relaxation. Then next you are for this relaxation step, this one, this whole thing. So for each v to e, means v to e, some edge was there, and you just need to do what, some source is there, and there was some path to reach v. There should not be any cycle, so you have to remove this cycle. There should not be any cycle possible. So there was some random path to reach v, and you are finding that whether that there was some distance that to reach w was smaller or not. If this condition holds, then what you do this, means v will become parent of w, and this is what you are doing actually a decrease key, means you are decreasing the priority of w. If that w was already over there, if w is in the priority queue, then you are decreasing the priority of that w. Else you are just inserting that w to the else you are inserting that w to the queue. So as we had discussed, there were two sets of vertices, v and v minus s. So if it's in the queue, if it is already reached, means somewhere from somewhat w is already been reached, then you do nothing with that w over here. You decrease that priority of w. Else, if w is not reached, you just insert that w to the priority queue. For execution of this relaxation step again in the next iteration. Next, we'll see the application of the shortest path. So it's
So can you repeat what we were doing in decrease key?
a decrease key if W was already been the part of that visited node. So W was already been the part of visited node. You just decrease and remove that. Means you don't go for that W again. But if that W was not been visited or not been reached out by any means, then you are just inserting that W to the priority queue, and that distance to reach that W. So you are adding to the priority queue so that in the next iteration, whenever you are doing running while loop, priority is not empty. So you'll get W over here if it's required, if it is unvisited. If W was visited, then W will not occur over here. So this is what we are doing over here.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so next, the application of the shortest path. In the application of the shortest path basically means network flow. Uh, there is a application of network flow means each edge could have some fixed amount of flow and capacity of the flow that could be denoted as weight of that edge, and you can start studying that capacity of edges means different pipelines of flow. This is one of the application that could be possible with this type of graph theory that we had studied. Then transportation problem, that we need to find out some optimal transportation so that we can allocate some resources in well-defined manner. In the, for example, in logistic, you want to transport some product from one place to another. So there is another application, transshipment problem. So there are various transportation problems that have various intermediate nodes, and possibly changing some of the modes, like bus could be there, train could be there, airplanes could be there, ships could be there. So there are various modes of transportation as well. So we'll see this critical path analysis. Critical path basically helps you to study this PERT chart. What is PERT chart? PERT chart means you are a project manager, and you want to find what is the maximum time to complete this project. So you need to find the longest path of the activities. There are various activities in the project, means the most of the activities are dependent on each other. So first activity will finish first, second activity will finish second, third activity will finish third, fourth activity will finish fourth. So all these things are dependent on each other, but there is also possibility that there are some activity which can go in parallel. So there are some activity that can go in parallel. So we are not considering those parallel activities, but we are considering those activity which are the longest path. Means that could actually, if these activities are delayed, then the whole project will be delayed. Why? Because these are taking longest path, longest duration to complete the whole sequence of activities. So we are interested to study this critical path, which is defined as longest dependent activities, that actually measure it in terms of time that is required to complete the project. So we'll see the example in detail for this. So other examples that are possible in the complex network are like non-trivial topological things in the, like in the network motifs. So subgraphs are there, various subgraphs are there. Critical analysis could be done for the rule mining, and then the applications could be like complex network, biological network, technological network. Like in the computer network, various machines, computer machines are having data transfer, that packets are being transported on the data link layer. Then in the social network, you have various friend that are being connected to you, and various persons are joining various communities. So this type of graphs could be plotted, and this type of study could be possible. Electrical path, power system analysis. So various electrical power systems could be there, devices could be there, and various transmission line or impedance could be marked as edges. So devices could be the vertices, and the impedance or some transmission line could be edges. So you can plot all most of them in the graph manner, and then you can apply graph theory over there. Then complex biological network, that various molecules are been interacting with each other, molecular analysis. For example, species could be mapped, that this species was inherited from the ancestor species, this is like predecessor species. So this type of study could be done. Gene regulatory network could be formed, metabolical networks are being formed, protein interaction could be formed. Then in the operational research, like logistical network, that transportation problems are there, social networks are there, epistemological networks are there. So all these things are being studied. Thereafter, in the computer science, link analysis could be done for the World Wide Web, internet and computer networks. Means various pages are there, web pages are there. Page 1 is directed towards page 2, page 2 is directed towards page 3, so page 3 is directed towards page 4, and again the page 4 is directed towards page 4. So the graph could be plotted like this, and you can again do the study and analysis between such type of graphs based upon the graph theories. Then the next is social network analysis, as there are various social entities in the social media, social networks like Facebook network, Instagram. So various persons are being connected to each other, groups are being connected to each other, organizations are being connected to each other. So they have the interactions and scholarly publications are there. Then thereafter we'll study this PERT chart analysis. In this PERT chart, we actually discussed over here this part and this. So we are interested to find the critical path, means the longest path that is possible. And how we are going to find out the longest path in the part chart, we are going to see the demo. So basically the edges would actually represent jobs. Various edges are representing jobs, and various weights are required. Weights are representing time to complete these particular jobs. For example, there are some dependent jobs as well. Means you can complete U and V only if you have completed V, Vx means leaves V, and then you can only complete U and V. So it depends. Means U, this V comma X being the predecessor of job U comma V. So it depends. Some of the activities are required to be performed before some other activities. Then the path created by them will be creating directed acyclic graph that actually gives us sequence of jobs that are required to be performed. Then we are interested to find out the critical path, that is longest path that in the directed acyclic graph that are being formed. So the longest time would actually give us the by the any sequence of job that means gives us the whole time to complete the whole project. So the weight of the critical path are required to be provided, and that has to be analyze the total time to perform the whole job. So all these things are being required to complete the and find the critical path. Then this is an example for the critical path analysis. So this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H are the activities, and here the red ones are being shown this as the critical path. Why this is critical path? If anything in this critical path was being delayed, then the whole project would be delayed. But here F and G could be delayed because it is not in the critical path, but they also need to be delayed very less as compared to these. But anything delayed in this critical path would actually lead to the delay of the whole project. So this is what it means by the critical path. Then how to find the critical path? Critical path means longest path, simple. And you can find just opposite of that shortest path. We had studied everything for the shortest path. Now we have to calculate for the longest path. So you just run this directed acyclic graph shortest path for the negative edge weights. So you just put negative in front of them, means negative, 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 and just start running this directed acyclic graph path, and you will end up getting this longest path. Then you have this directed shortest path. Directed acyclic shortest path algorithm you can run in the another way. You first replace all the initially you had started with infinity in the normal algorithm, means the source node is at zero distance. So this source node is at zero distance and all the other nodes are at infinite distance. So you are first have to replace this infinity with minus infinity. All these things are being replaced with minus infinity. So this minus infinity would actually represent that negative things. And this initialization was being done with the minus infinity. Then thereafter, the relaxation would be done by replacing this greater than by the lesser than. So in the case of this v dot d greater than u dot d plus weight, you have to do v dot d less than u dot d plus w, and rest all the things would be same. So there will be something replacement of v dot d was there, the same thing. So you just have to do that same thing, but you just need to make this change. So I hope this was being clear to all of you. Thereafter, this critical path was being calculated. So this type of information was being given to you initially. So the jobs and destinations and all these things information was being given. And what does this says? This says that job 0 could only be completed if 7, 9. So if job 0 was being completed, only then job 1, 7 and 9 could be started. Job 1 will be finished, only then job 2 could be started. Means job 2 will not start until and unless job 1 is being finished. So similarly, job 1, 7 and 9 will not start until and unless job 0 was being finished. So this is what it has been shown. This is job to start. This 0 was job to be starting, and this one will not be started until unless this 0 was been finished. Then thereafter, again 7 will not be started until unless this job was not been finished, and this 9 will also not be start until unless this job 0 will not be finished. Again this 2 will not be started until unless job 1 will be finished. So similarly, you just have to think like this and keep on doing, keep on plotting this type of graph. Once you plotted this type of graph, and similarly for the job 6 over here. So job 6 will be finished, only then job 3 and 8 would be start. This 3 and 8 would be started when job 6 was being finished. So this 7 will also be there, like here. So this is how you have to plot this type of graph. Once you plotted this graph, thereafter what you have to do? Thereafter you have to do this type of structure you can plot, that you are taking this path for reaching completing this 41. So this job was taking 41 times 41. Thereafter, what you have to do? Thereafter, you have to do this 29. 29 was being used, then 70 was being reached. Then you have to do what? 21 for completing this 6. This 21. This is 21. Then for the ninth, you have this what? 29. And then thereafter you have this 32 for 8. This 32. Thereafter you have what? 50. This whole thing for the what? 2. And this will give you what? 173. This whole thing would give you what? Longest path as 173. 173. This is how you actually plot this type of critical path, and you
So,
calculate. Yes,
sir, in this, are we checking the longest path or the shortest path?
longest
Because
path.
we have taken 29 instead of 32 and 51.
We are taking the longest path.
So, but in when we have the choices for 29, 32, and 51, we have took 29 since it is the smallest. So, sir, it will make the smallest path or the largest path.
So it is making actually the largest path. That largest path it is making. For example, this actually this path is dependent. Means this 8 and 9. So you have to choose the path which is having the most dependencies as well. So here you have the dependencies for comparison purpose. Like this path is the longest, 173 is the longest path. Why? Because you can't start running 8 until unless 6 and 7 was been finished. And here if you choose 32, like in this case, here if you choose 32, then it will become small. Because why? 32, if you choose simply 32, 32 is less than what? 29 plus 21. So this another path would fail. So because we want to find out the longest path to complete the project, means this longest path would actually gives us the maximum time that the project would take. Anyhow your project can't be completed before 173 unit of time. Means there would be required for 173 days to complete this project. This is what it means by the critical path, and that's what we want from this graph, and the longest path possible. So this is the longest path possible in this graph, and this 32 would be avoided because there are 29 plus 21. What is 29 plus 21? It will give you this 50. 50 is greater than 32, so you want to choose 30. You want to choose 50 as compared to 30 because 50 is larger, so we had choose this path. Is it clear?
Sir, it is clear. And sir, we are choosing the longest. Our motive is to for choosing the longest path is to do more and more jobs for a
No,
project.
no, no, no. Means these are the jobs that are required to be done and finish this job. Means this is ending point. This is end and this is start. All these activity must have to be done to complete the project. But the thing is that you have this as the critical path. Red line was a critical path. Means anyhow that 173 unit of time was being required. First information is this. Second information, anything on this path if delayed, means if this 9 was being delayed by 2, So there will be addition of 2 over here. So 175 would be given. 175 would require to be time taken. If anything was being added up here, means 2 was added up here, means there will be a delay. Rest all the path, if you calculate anything, like if we calculate the path like this path, what's the size of this path? It's simply 45. 45 is much lesser than 175. And how much time you can delay this process? 5. You can delay it 175 minus 45. What is that? 130. So even if you delay this 5 by 130 days, then also you keep on completing this project, means how much? At 175th day. Did you get?
Yes, sir. Now I got it.
So it depends that this is not a critical path, means this activity 5 is not on the critical path. You can delay it by 130 days. If you are already having delay of 2 in the 9, means delay or anything on this critical path would actually result in delay over here. So this 2 is delay of whole project, delay of whole project. And this 130 was not the delay of whole project. This is delay of just 5. Why? Because you have 45 as the time for the 5 activity 5. Next example is like you have various currency exchange and you want to have the exchanges uh, between the multiple currency. You have initially have $1,000, 1,000 US dollars, which could be converted with in the euros, 741 euros. Thereafter, you are converting that 741 euros to the Canadian dollar. That will give you $1,012 Canadian dollars. And then again, you convert this Canadian dollar back to the US dollars, and you are getting what? $1,007. And what is that $1,007? You are getting benefited. Means what is the benefit? It is simple. You are being getting benefit of this $7 as compared to this $1,000. So you are getting 1,000 plus 7 in this process. But how to find out this 7 automatically? Because this all these things would take very small time, and the fluctuation will keep on happening at very fast time, best very fast, and you want to find out this 7 very quickly. Otherwise the rate would again be changed, because there were many other fellows which keep on converting transaction will be doing. Then you actually have the negative cycle in this. How you actually calculate the negative cycle and you apply this negative cycle? For example, you basically want to do the currency exchange, and you have various weights on the currency exchange like this you have assigned, and you have the directed cycle that is having the weights greater than 1. This is 0.7, 1.36, 0.95. And when you do the multiplication of all these things, you will get what? 1.007. So this is what you want to find. This type of cycle, you want to find this type of cycle giving profit. So what you can do, you do the negative of log. So that negative of log will give you the value. Why? This log of 1 is equals to 0. Log of something less than 0 would something less than 1 would actually give you negative value, and log of something greater than 1 would actually give you what? Greater than 0. Means this will be a positive. So positive, negative, and this is equals to 0. So it depends on what you want to achieve and this negative. So it depends on how you actually create some algorithm, and this will result in something. After this whole process, you do the log of this, and log of something will give you the negative, because this whole cycle will be actually negative, and so this negative cycle would actually give you the negative uh, 0.071. It depends on how you do the coding. If you do the coding accordingly, then the things would work out. So how do you want to do the coding and want to identify this cycle? It depends on you. So I hope this application was been clear, because it's very obvious and simple. Then next, the non-negative weights are there. So non-negative weights are like arises in the many applications. So we had seen many applications with the non-negative weights like road maps, or like water pipeline supply. There are thousands of such uh, applications of non-negative weights. We'll not discuss about this. For them, disasters algorithm was there, which runs at the linear time as well. Then there is acyclic edge weight digraph, like in the PERT chart or the critical path analysis. That longest path could be example. So for them, we do the topological sort in the linear time. Then we have uh, some edges negative as well, means in this case negative edges could also be solved. Then the negative weights is special case, that negative weights and negative cycles. So there are some applications that we had just seen, like in the currency exchange. So you want to detect the negative cycle. If there is no negative cycle, then you can detect the shortest path with the help of Bellman-Ford algorithm. If there is negative cycle, then you can also detect it with the help of Bellman-Ford. Means Bellman-Ford will tell you whether there is negative cycle or not negative cycle. So basically, what you want to see with this shortest path is broadly useful for solving many of the graph problems. So you have to apply and think how you apply this graph theory on those applications. Thanks, all of you. So we'll meet in the next class. Any question or doubt? So thanks. I hope you had enjoyed this part of course. Next, we'll discuss something else, some new unit. Bye, all of you.